Good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the NECC, where we have got another excellent matchup for you. Before that, we got to make some introductions. My name is Dia, of course. I'm going to be play-by-playing for you guys tonight. Alongside me, I got the one and only Roodood, who I could not be more excited to cover. Two very exciting universities alongside UBC Amber, my alma mater, so I'm not biased, and MCU Esports from California.
Now,
where I grew up, where I'm also not biased.
You have to translate for me. What does alma mater mean to an English person?
Well, alma mater to me means where I studied, like where I went to school.
Is it Latin?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, it's like pseudo cum laude and valedictorian type things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear these in pop culture shows all the time, but I mean, it's good to get the info out there, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially for all of the British people watching the stream.
One more thing you might hear me say, UBC's what's that word? It's like a
Mascot?
catchphrase. No, not mascot.
Motto.
Their motto is tuum est, which means it is yours. So if they're doing
What is mine?
No, it means it is yours. Like tuum est means it is yours.
Yeah, but what is mine?
Nothing is yours. Whatever you want. The education.
Oh,
the
it's mine.
Game, if I'm using, yeah, exactly. if you were like, I have a hamburger, I'd go tuum est, and you'd be like, why are you speaking Latin? Yeah.
Est indeed. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about the game.
I love messing with you, dude. It's so fun.
We have got. Let's see. On what side is who? UBC are on.
UBC are on blue.
Yep, UBC are on blue. I figured it out. I figured it out eventually.
Okay.
And having already gone through the bans and picks in Pro Draft, I find it interesting the way that we've chosen to draft. However, I can't fault anyone for it since UBC are currently 4-0 and MCU are not that far behind at 3-1.
They, very closely competitive rivals in this division, and this could be the time, I suppose, where UBC end up getting dethroned. They have lost one single game thus far in the season. No series thus far. It is, of course, best of 3 format. Whereas MCU, they have lost the one series overall and a couple of games as such. There's a very real possibility that MCU are able to take down the currently undefeated Titans of this division. And with this really strong front line on the top side, they've put themselves in a good position to do so. I also really like this Anivia lock-in that we just get to see, because up against immobile champions, aka Mordekaiser Trundle Victor, that's a very strong champion. If somebody gets caught in your Froststorm in the ulti, it is a very dangerous position to be in. The Glacial Storm, that's what it's called. And you can also use the wall very, very aggressively.
Yeah, this is a really nasty draft coming through from Marymount, California. Just given the front line that we know they'll have and the scaling that is already in their favor. I will say, scaling also is going to be the name of UBC Amber, but in a very different way. I don't classify them so much towards the team fights as I do the side lanes when I'm seeing things like Mordekaiser and Victor.
No, I know. They've got obviously this slightly different style of approach for UBC, and I expect them to hopefully be able to take that. Mordekaiser obviously has a very good matchup in this top lane, and that's something that we'll probably get to see. This top lane was the counter pick. It was UBC that got the answer to the Ornn. They were allowed to take this. It was actually this Sivir that you see locked in for Uceen as the counter pick on R5, on that final pickup of the draft. So a lot of pressure going into Uceen's hands. The Sivir is the linchpin that they used at the end to tie their team together. So we will have to wait and see whether or not they can make that work. And, you know, as such, if she can make the real plays happen.
We've got a lot of real playmakers as well. Taking a look at the what I'll call a defensive composition from Marymount, especially given the Anivia that I think really ties everything together. Their objective is to not die and to outlast you. However, UBC Amber definitely have some tools against this. There's a lot of sustain with Trundle and Mordekaiser. You pile a Yuumi on top of any of those and it's already scary, but then we consider how much damage Zeri can do over the course of a fight, and I feel like both of these teams really do want fights to go on for seemingly ever.
Yeah, I mean, if we end up getting an Ocean Soul this game, we're gonna be absolutely loving life on
Hmm.
both sides. It's just gonna be us sitting back. We'll get cozy, we'll get tucked in, and all of a sudden we'll just have seven different bouts of healing coming through every 5 seconds on either side. So there is a lot of tools available to both of our teams in terms of keeping them alive, and I think that going forward, it's going to be a very interesting one to see who it is that can come out on top this game. One draft certainly has delivered quite a lot of standard picks with the Zeri coming through, but then also a few niche ones like the Mordekaiser and the Sivir as well as an answer.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what Sivir is like on this patch because I remember when she was played all the time, and Sivir was oppressive because mostly of her boomerang blade. But you do have the option, if you are going to go a little bit more off meta anyways, to go more on hit, and that's a Sivir build that I haven't seen in quite a while, but it scales ridiculously well. I think a lot of the itemization choices from Marymount, California are going to have to come from when they think they are strongest, because while
Yeah.
both teams look good in the late game, I think that MCU looks slightly better. Am I misreading that?
No, I think you're quite right. I think that just Soraka in general outscales every other enchanter in the game, even Yumi. By that token, the Wish is simply too strong. At that point, in late stages of the game, you can remove grievous wounds, and honestly, that's such an important tool that if it gets picked up by UBC, that we could end up seeing translated back across.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Thank you. In in Death Realm, does Soraka still get her wish? You know,
It doesn't work. You don't. I
doesn't
don't
work.
think you get. Yeah, you get taken to a different realm. So
Doesn't
the
cross
wish
over
is
into existence?
non-affected. Yeah.
Okay. So there's only a god in Summoner's Rift, but
Yeah.
not on the Death Realm, not where Mordekaiser do lay, and that will
That
be
makes
something.
sense.
Well, we can keep our eyes on that interaction, see if it ever occurs, because I'm sure there will be a lot of Death Realms this game.
Take a prediction. How many death realms do you think we'll get?
Ooh, how many?
This is a really good question. How many
Yeah.
times do you think a champion casts their ult in a game?
Well, that's yeah. Well, one for the
Plus or
gank,
minus 10?
one for the gank, two more for solo kills, or solo kills the other way. It doesn't matter because they'll use it. And then I'm gonna say 4 more. So I think we're gonna see 7 to 8 times.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
that's a high ult count, I think.
Do you? Okay. I was gonna go with 7 as well, which is boring because it's
Oh
exactly
my
what you
God.
said.
No, it's not boring because of all the numbers we could have possibly picked. We both chose 7, and that means
Yeah.
that it's not just
Imagine if it's like 12, and we're just like, oh.
we're both wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you-
Imagine
do you-
imagine
like-
it's something above 10. That'd be
If we-
hilarious.
Since we both picked 7, do you want to take 7 or less or 7 or more?
I'll take 7 and more.
Okay, I'll take 7 or less.
Yeah.
I'm
You said
feeling-
it was high, so you can take less.
Okay.
How about I take 8 and more, and then you take 7 and less,
Okay.
and
I
then we
like
have a
that, I like
distinctive
that.
winner.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take it. Now we have to
All
actually
right.
keep count though, which is going to be the rough spot.
Production behind the scenes are just
really hurts me.
cancelling us right now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time Mordekaiser ults, I gotta. Okay.
I mean, we're talking.
I've got the notebook. No.
We're
I've got
talking
a
quite
notebook.
a bit about the
Fine.
Mordekaiser.
We
Do
are.
you think that Mord is the early game focus?
No.
Okay. Do you think
Straight
there
up.
is an early game focus?
You could put it mid lane. I think Victor versus Anivia is probably the most boring lane in the world, but equally they're both immobile, so you can definitely get some ganks going. Got Trundle on one side, forget the other side. Hold on, I can whip it up real quick. Well, there we go. 2 very heavy ganking junglers if you want them in the early stages, so I could definitely see some priority around this mid lane. And trying to gank bot lane is doable. You've got 2 enchanters as support, some fairly squishy ADCs, but Zeri can hop over walls, and Sivir can spell shield your large portion of engage, which is obviously very bad if you want to try and gank it.
I'm thinking about the counterplay actually, because I hadn't remembered the spell shield just as a thing that can interact with the rest of the game. Outside of Mordekaiser ult, there isn't really that much that you're spell shielding, so you're picking up a lot of wave clear for MCU, which would indicate to me in almost any other matchup that they're expecting to fall behind. They're expecting to have to be clearing waves all the time.
Think about it
siege is
this way.
pretty good. Yeah, go ahead.
They're picking up wave clear so they can extend their leads even faster.
Okay.
And they
I
can
like
poke
that.
under turrets easier.
I like
With
it.
the Q, the boomerang blade. I did want to talk about this actually, because this is a very You talked about Sivir builds, and I want to touch on that quickly. I'm hoping to see lethality Sivir. I don't think that crit Sivir is going to do the work this game. You're up against a Zeri who largely outranges you, and I say largely, I mean by a large amount, not sometimes does, sometimes doesn't. She outranges you just straight up, and that's not something that Sivir is going to be too happy about. So I want you to be throwing out boomerang blades and using those as your leading source of damage. And hey, somebody happens to hop into your auto attack range, I'm not telling you not to auto attack, but your leading source of damage should come from that longer range ability to take people down and chip away at their health bar. You have a Nivea to be consistent, sustained DPS, so you can do the other as well.
Hecarim will scale pretty well to be able to not really counter an AD carry, but you got Hecarim on your AD carry, you've negated them for the most part. So,
You've won.
Exactly. Well, we'll see. I think you're right. You know what? I see your logic.
I think I'm right as well, dear. Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I got you. I know that you were waiting for my validation to really,
True.
really send it home. No, I think it'll hurt the scaling of Marymount by just a little bit.
It will. It will. But
it'll
their ability to play League of Legends will be much greater throughout the rest of the game.
That's true.
So you trade
lower risk in lane.
I will trade off 20, the past 35-minute marker of damage for the ability to play the game throughout the duration. And they've got Dark Harvest, so credit to Ucine here. She's got the right mastery, got the right keystone. We're very happy about this.
Yeah, this is pretty darn nice. Both junglers starting off on the bot side. I mean that they're likely going to be, maybe not interacting with, but definitely pathing top. And I do wonder what sort of situation that'll create, especially around Heart of Africa, who is really the aggressor in this matchup, if anything, and would be calling for help from Twang to start the ball rolling, if you'll forgive it. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage.
Nivea good. Electrocute is honestly fairly disgusting on Anivia, particularly when you get the application of both parts of the Q. So Anivia works with 2 instances of Q damage, that's 2 procs, and then you press the E. If you get the connection, you get bonus damage from having applied Frost to somebody, and you also get the bonus damage from Electrocute. So there is a lot of front-loaded, or a lot of backloaded damage to an Anivia trade pattern if that E connects.
And it's kind of crazy the fadeaways that Anivia can throw out there. Jungler's starting to head top side. We are looking at the trade patterns of top lane as well. Nobody's really taken anything heavy just yet.
Count the ults.
Small advantage starting to develop for Heart of Africa, as at least Wave is in their control, pushing away from them, but a ward in the Tri-Brush should keep Heart of Africa safe from any ganks. Nice trade from Keels.
Yeah, recognizes that the Heart of Africa has just used their entire spells on the wave. They have a free opportunity to go for a trade. It's not something that you'll find too frequently in the Ornn versus Mordecai as a matchup. Nevertheless, it's something that Keels has found the window for, and he's quite rightly punished.
With Pango Liker. Oh, yes. Oh, the mana, the health sustain. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, dear.
Oh, Marymount, California are feeling so happy right now with the way that trade went, with the way that we'll see a lot of trades go, likely.
Well, hopefully. That's certainly the hope, is that they can continue to punish with Star Calls and get that health back quite nicely. And I want to see instant purchases on both supports of that Oblivion Orb straight into the Chemtech Putrefier. Let's get that out of the way early doors. Let's put Grievous Wounds in both back pockets as a just a flat base. It needs to be done. I don't care which of the bot laners collect it. It would make sense for it to be the supports. They're both very good at players of that. But even if it is Ucine, she picks up the Executioner's Calling. Happy with that too.
Heart of Africa not nearly so happy up in this top side. Does deal a nice bit of damage and gets the shield on Mordekaiser, but with the ghost popped, it's very unlikely that he'll get away. Origins goes under tower. First blood gets collected, but the second tower shot just doesn't land. Origins barely gets out alive.
Woo! Woo! That was by the hair on the chinny chin right there. That's a very close action. There was probably 0.0 seconds worth of time before that turret shot starts to come out. So absolute credit goes over to Origins. That was a very well executed gank on the top side. And as such, finds the kill, finds the opportunity now to help Keels in this top side.
Best place to get the kill as well, since you are that Hecarim that does scale pretty darn nicely, especially after first item. The faster you can get there, the better. And to be honest, Ornn, with that additional kills worth of gold, was just going to be as Ornn as he ever was going to be. So I'm glad that junglers have picked this up, and it is a fair advantage given to Marymount, California. Maybe not now, but in the next, I'm going to say 5 minutes, that's really going to pay off.
Okay, well, keep your eyes on the clock, folks. 10 minutes time, or on the 10-minute marker, rather. Origins gonna come alive. They did go back to base, collected themselves a Tear of the Goddess, which is obviously a very good item to be trying to work towards for that 5-minute marker scaling. Maybe a little bit longer if we're opting into the Mana Moon, but now there's a return gank on that top side.
Heals should have flash soon, not available just yet, and as it appears, manages to flash away. I'm realizing now the spectator client is bugged, and it looks the same for Karamatsu Girl, so flash was available the entire time, but ignoring that, still,
nevertheless,
yeah, exactly.
Moving on.
Hey, level 6 available. This is where we start counting.
I have the notebook. I have it open on a blank page. I'm just going to draw lines. You know the tallies?
Yeah.
I'll be tallying Mordekaiser ults. Reminder, 7 or less is Dia's win. 8 or more, that's for me. It's a big wave for Keels.
Should be able to collect the majority of it as well. Should hit 6 off of it. So Heart of Africa is actually kind of playing with fire, because Ornn can do a lot of damage once he hits level 6. There are no junglers in the area. It's going to be entirely the 1 versus 1. Scary for both of them. Nice farm under tower for Keels, but didn't hit 6. Fascinating.
What I want to address in this top lane matchup is quite why it's so Mordekaiser favoured. Talks a lot about it, and I think it's a good time to hem in on quite why it's going to be so difficult for Keels to play out this game. You talked about the level 6 coming through. Well, as soon as that Call the Forge God happens, you can actually ult the Ornn, take him into the Death Realm, and then the second part of Call the Forge God is no longer present, it's no longer activatable. You can't recast it because you're actually in the other realm. So that is why the Mordekaiser vs Sword matchup is actually so one-sided, is that you can just immune the Ornn ultimate in an instant. It's also worth noting there is an element of counterplay. The W from Ornn, which makes him unstoppable, also counts on the Death Realm. So if Keels times that perfectly, there is an opportunity to prevent himself from being able to take it into the Death Realm.
I love this matchup. Now that you've told me that, I am so ecstatic about being able to watch it. It's like Fiora Camille, but with hundreds upon thousands of HP.
Yeah, true.
Fiora Camille, but forever.
But forever. Well, they go for a fair while as well. They opt into some cheeky lifesteal. One.
W there. All right, exhaust is down. Heals actually might be able to get this kill. You gotta be careful. Here comes the ult. Heart of Africa does take a fair amount of damage, but gets out from under the tower just in the nick of time. Still looking for the kill though. Heals for fun could go down. As you'll recall, no junglers in the area, and it's a fair bit of zoning off the tower that, honestly, though it's not a kill, feels really good as a top laner who was already pretty ahead.
Job is effectively done, right? You force them off the wave, you get a little bit of alone time with that turret. So overall, pretty good standing for UBC to collect that top lane. Well, pressure, not necessarily kill, but a well traded back by MCU down on the bot side. They collect themselves the dragon.
Now let's take a minute, because we've been looking pretty heavily at top-side matchups, and we've seen Heart of Africa start to take off. But what's starting to concern me is the mid-lane matchup, because Karamatsu Girl is taking off, almost 30 CS up at this point, with the Anivia, somebody who will scale ridiculously well, is concerning up against the Victor, as Penguin Laker is absolutely dead. I don't know. There's no real analysis there.
You hit the nail on the head. They are dead. And we're at the point in the game where Anivia becomes incredibly fun if you're Anivia, and incredibly boring if you are the enemy mid laner. Because all that Karamatsu is going to be doing, she'll press ult in the wave will die, and then she will use her time to do something else on the map. And it looks like right now, that is take away chickens.
Well, it's pretty good. You get to get even further ahead. We're still keeping around that
100
marker,
100 CS.
A little further ahead, right? And you're contributing to the disparity between the junglers. Origins, not, what is it called? Not in danger of being caught up to by Twang, in any case, but only making it worse. And starting to put UBC ever so slightly behind. Gank up in the top side, where Origins, should be able to pick up this kill. Small bit of shielding could come out from Heart of Africa, and he does get it as Twang shows up, but there's not going to be an answer back we can assume. Origins, though, does try and trade for a little while. Flash was available from Twang, but chose not to use it on the off chance that he wouldn't get the kill. Instead, Devin is starting to come up. Origins is going aggressive. Flash away, and this should be a kill given to your Victor. Origins does go down, and it's a 1-for-1 up towards the top side.
It is, but look in this mid lane once again. Karamatsu girl, she's pushing in that wave, and she's going to be collecting plates as well. Nothing to be said in that mid lane either. There's a TP to come back in, but there's like a ton of return damage on this.
I was thinking the stun would come out, but perhaps on cooldown. Still stun actually connecting after the fact, as skirmishing down on the bot side is going to absolutely go the way of UBC Amber. They've got monsters on the top side and in the bot side, but it's this mid lane that is the X factor. Karamatsu girl can mess this game up.
This is how you know you're farming successfully. Karamatsu girl has 0 kill participation. Well, okay, she had a bounty, alright? There was a 150 gold bounty over her head. No longer is it there. But you do get to see that 115 CS inside 11 minutes. This is beyond perfect CS right now. So there is nothing really to say other than absolutely well played, because she's been nailing this farm, this early game. The laning phase has gone very well for her.
The Anivia clearly is making good use of the not counter picks, but of the pickup here. A very niche champion most times is looking like it may be pick ban, depending on how the rest of this game goes. Stun's going to come out. That should be a solo kill, but a nice stun comes and flash away from the Victor, leaving Karamatsu girl with her summoner spell still up. Ming going aggressive once again. Angolaker is also just dead. Just dead.
Or are they?
Just dead. There we go.
Oh,
just. Oh my god, Yuxin takes a surprising amount of damage as well. Where did all that come from? Was that just a chomp?
It was a large portion of the chomp. Yeah, you seen just gets melted.
There we go. Karamatsu girl. Oh my god, the egg! I forgot about the egg! Everyone forgets about the egg.
Well, I hate to be that guy, but I didn't forget
You didn't forget about the egg. You didn't forget about the egg. I just ate lunch. I wasn't hungry enough to remember the egg.
Oh, well, my apologies. I forgot that casting League of Legends was a hunger-based esport. My bad.
Dude, I am constantly being caught off guard today. Did you realize it's twice now that we've seen a play and I've gone, wow, that's a lot of damage that I didn't expect.
I didn't, but I do now. So thank you for calling yourself out.
Yeah, well, no, it's just
letting the stream know as well. We love that.
Crazy amount of damage that's happening today, and I feel like my guesstimation is off. You know, I keep expecting people to do less damage or be able to take more, and it's already quite swingy.
It's a little bit off. The pendulum needs to be recentered, refocused a little bit. But
yeah,
3-0 Zeri versus 1-0 Anivia. Now, traditionally, I would go very Zeri favored in this, just because champion broken, champion good. But does Zeri outrange Anivia? I think that if Ming can, then there's a chance that UBC are in a very good spot.
There's an ult angle here. There's an ult angle here for sure. There we go. That's number 2. Ult very nicely used after the fact, but a little bit too late. Second ult from Heart of Africa. Ends up getting them a kill, and an early Rylai's buy as well. Didn't go with the Mythic purchase first.
No, the initial slow is actually proving to be enough here to just wail on kills for all that time. You know, if you get caught up in the Mordekaiser passive where you're still stuck in the AoE, there's never really any getting away unless you have your own set of CC or movement to get away. Unfortunately, Ornn had already used all of that. Keels was not in a position to do so.
Whoa! Ming's just going for it again. They just keep pulling this play on repeat, but this time Origins is here. Teleport at a very nice time is going to try and save Ming, but Karamatsu girl is on her way down, and Ming may not be out of it just yet. Stun doesn't quite connect on Ming, but instead wipes Teddy off the face of the planet. Origins has gone down, however, and Karamatsu girl is in trouble. Second stun comes out. Heart of Africa goes down as well. It's a double kill for Anivia, and as Yuxin desperately tries to get away, the jump once again rips out her HP. And there they go. Triple kill for Twang. Things are getting wild on Summoner's Rift.
It is a numbers differential in the bot lane. That teleport from UBC, the difference maker in the fight. Karamatsu Girl did so much work in that skirmish, but not quite able to do it all. A 4 versus 5 that ultimately goes the way of the 5 members of UBC. They're in a very good spot right now. Few kills given over to your Trundle. Not necessarily the key target with this Divine Sunder, where we may get to see an even more attack damage oriented route. And at that point, you have to start fearing for your life regardless if you're UC on this server or Karamatsu Girl on the Anivia, both of you immobile. If that pillar comes through at the right time, you can not only get the immobile carries off guard, but you can also interrupt that Glacial Storm, which is going to be so pivotal in terms of kiting.
Especially because the Anivia, whose Glacial Storm you'd be interrupting, is 4-1. It is crazy how scary Karamatsu Girl has been, will continue to be. It was terrifying to think of in the skirmish, and things that are only going to get worse with subsequent item pickups that are pretty darn close. Devin gonna feel the majority of that right now as the stun will come in, but a little bit too late for him to see it.
So what you can do on this Victor matchup is actually channel your own ultimate to stop the Victor or the Anivia ulti from coming through as well.
Heart of Africa has ult. Nicely
There we go.
done. That's number 3. Heals actually should be able to get this kill. Next Mace Slam. There we go, underneath the tower. May die for it,
Now
though.
got the stats.
Coming out to Origins. You do still have Conqueror running. Nice flash away from Heart of Africa. Taking the fatty flash over the wall. Ends up making it work for 1 kill and no response.
I wonder if there was a world where that actually got turned into a 2v1 in favour of Heart of Africa. You had the stats stolen away from Keels, and the Hecarim ulti actually went wide, so I think that there was a chance for the 1 versus 2. Nevertheless, we respect the play. We respect that you still get the kill and you get out to safety, so you're not giving up anything regardless. Would have been risky to go for 100%. But this is, again, just continual pressure on MCU. They have 1 pressure point in the mid lane, and outside of that, bot lane is in a bit of a catastrophe. Top lane, the same situation. Can either of these side lanes help out Karamatsu Girl and get into a better spot?
What is really scaring me about bot side right now is that Ming and Teddy just don't care. They're not playing the lane really against anything. They run around wherever they please, and Yuxin and Pengo don't seem to have the damage or the gumption to actually challenge a ridiculous amount of healing and a ridiculous amount of movement speed from these two.
No, exactly, right? This is a really difficult bot lane to try and play up against, and there's a reason that, you know, Zeri has got all of this priority around the world.
Is Yuxin dead right now? Yuxin's dead right. Both of them.
They're both dead.
What the? What on earth? What is happening? What?
Wish. Where was Wish? Where was my on the hunt? They weren't expecting it any more than you were, dear. They both have ultis.
So is my
Pengo
calibrator off, or are UBC just doing a lot of damage?
A little column A, a little column B.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's a lot of damage coming out from this area, and when you're playing up against this Yumi, quite hard.
No ult for Ming, but you are going to get a lot of movement speed if you can keep hitting your abilities. Gets out over the wall, but Karamatsu Girl is on the prowl. He's going to pick up this kill very quickly, and Teddy should be next, but not getting CC'd. Now Twang is in it for the long haul. He's already expended the pillar, so no interrupt on Glacial Storm can happen. Instead, Karamatsu Girl, the one being hunted down. Again, no CC in this particular case. This is getting kind of risky for Twang, who flashes forward. The heal comes through. Origins is very much alive, and Twang, maybe not so much. Does get an additional heal, but the stun comes in, and Teddy is all alone. That's 3 kills to MCU.
Really good response in the bot side. It's all around this Anivia. Karamatsu Girl's got the weight of the team on her shoulders. She has to make plays happen and has to be the lead carry for the squad. Thus far, it's been a toss-up, a 50-50 of who's collecting those kills and where the pressure is really mounting the most. With that bot lane play, tempo, momentum swings back in favour of Marymount, California, and they've now got another opportunity to keep this ball rolling. Karamatsu Girl picked up a very late tier, only 105 stacks on that, but collecting that one is going to make her late game a lot more dangerous.
6-1 Karamatsu, 2 items, and by far the furthest ahead in this game. You got a pretty strong jungler as well, but with the side lanes in the state that they are in, with Heart of Africa essentially unchallenged anymore, now that you've got first turret and already several kills on the Ornn, with Ming just having picked up theirs, the collapse metaphorically into this mid lane as everybody lays down pressure across Summoner's Rift is going to be extremely difficult to deal with.
Oh, oh, goodbye.
Devin's dead. There's no two ways about that.
And this just speaks to a little bit of unfamiliarity with the matchup. Like I say, using that Chaos Storm, you can interrupt the Glacial Storm. Victor ulti acts as a stop of channels. There's actually a really neat interaction with things like Karthus ulti, where if he's channeling that in your face, you can just press ult and stop the channel on that. It's the same way for Anivia, but now it looks like they're going to try and challenge a 4v5.
All right, look out for Ming, though. Going to be a big part of the game. Another Mordekaiser ultimate does come down. Ming flashes away from Hecarim and is trying to dial in the damage. Can't quite get it done, though. Instead, this Ornn frontline is proving pretty darn disgusting. But a big shutdown does go over to Heart of Africa, and though Heart of Africa will go down in the aftermath, Ming and Teddy are still around, and there's a teleport coming in. This fight's not over just yet. Watch this Zeri as she zips around the battlefield with Devin coming in as well. There's a lot of damage that can be put down, and already found Pango Laker, not quite down just yet, but Origins does end up falling with Ming, receiving that very last heal in the nick of time from Teddy.
Oh, the dragon, rather, still stays alive. Both these teams going for an absolute brawl. Another Mordekaiser ulti on the books, and it takes down Karamatsu Girl. The egg does buy a lot of time, though, and it means that the time spent killing that egg actually means half of that Heart of Africa does go down on the backside of the fight. May have liked to try and run away, but just wasn't able to get out from that one. And we saw the pressure, or the power rather, of the Zeri ultimate. Lightning Rush not available for the start of that fight meant that it was very difficult for Ming to do Zip Zip Zeri things. We have got the Drake still alive, and I imagine that within about 5 to 10 seconds time, we'll probably see these teams head back toward that objective for round number 2.
I'm looking forward to it because this boxing match is one that I want to be watching all day. That Titanic Hydra terrifying on Ming, and with a Rift Herald popped in the mid lane, we're going to say goodbye to all of MCU's outer towers. Now so much more pressure given over to UBC Amber, who have every turret so far and are trying to take yet another fight. We've got a lot of damage down on Heart of Africa, but Ming has shown up, and it's time for this Zeri to start popping up. Ultimate not quite ready just yet. Instead, stun comes back. Karamatsu Girl is going to go for this, but ult gets popped by Ming just in time and is trying to kite away from everyone, including Origins, who is starting to suffer a lot of damage. Wish and a bad misposition from Pango Laker will take them down. The slow comes in, but it's Ming and Teddy against the world, and at this point, I don't think you could survive much longer. Jumps out over the wall, and you're lucky to get out alive.
Doing everything they can right now to keep the team in this one. Boomerang Blade just barely goes wide. You can see they're still searching, they're still on it.
Oh, Karamatsu Girl! Really nice stun at the end. Not enough to save Hecarim, but enough to collect the double kill. And now, ostensibly, the dragon.
We hope. We hope the dragon.
Yeah, right? Surely dragon goes down now.
Surely. I think that this is a really good display of both teams recognizing what they want in this game. And honestly, it's just 5 versus 5s. It's very simple to be putting like this, but when you're playing without Zeri Ultimate, you have to be incredibly careful. This is 2 fights in a row now where Ming hasn't had it for the initial engage. It's also a fight where Heart of Africa doesn't get the most value out of his position in the game as well. Doesn't get any opportunity to fire his own ult. He gets simply CC'd into oblivion. And I hope that UBC start to learn from this. They hadn't got their ults available to start that fight, and it meant that they lost it. There's a very real possibility, though, that when those ults are back up, that their fights go a lot better. Particularly when, I've got to credit Twang for this, he has built the most broken item in the game, Force of Nature. Yeah,
this is excellent up against Anivia, especially. I do not think Karamatsu Girl is going to be having too good of a time when you got to dedicate so much attention to
just
Twang,
4 items.
That's also pretty crazy.
Wow. One more and you're full build.
It's crazy how... hold on, Rafa, think of your sentence. It's crazy how close this game is, considering the intense power points on both sides.
Correct. Now, can Heart of Africa get this turret kill? Doesn't look like it. There's a little bit of pressure as well. A lot of pressure, rather.
Just ult the Soraka. Just kill them. Yuxin, however, without a support. That's a pretty easy kill.
That's
Heart
a
of
death
Africa
realm.
has used the death realm, so that's what, 4, 5 now?
5.
Something like that. It's a golden Mordekaiser for the moment, and more importantly, a 2 versus 3 that's successfully executed by UBC.
Yeah, Karamatsu Girl looking for this flank off in the wings, trying to catch a little bit on vision. Not going to be able to find it just yet, but look at the bot lane as well. The unanswered area of Summoner's Rift. Devin collecting a little bit of farm, collecting that gold back in his pocket, and making sure that he can collect, hopefully, this bot lane tier 2, but with only one single caster creep. Probably not going to be able to pick up that one in too swift order.
We'll get there, Devin. It's been a tough day so far. The Anivia Victor matchup not treating him so well. Doesn't want to get caught out like that again. But with every little bit of pressure the rest of the team applies, a little bit further that Devin gets back in the game. I'm gonna have to exit the jungle post-haste. Next dragon coming up in 2 minutes, but with Baron already available, we could see some dancing around there as well. I don't mind UBC's chances of actually being able to take it.
And whoever gets this Baron, I genuinely think, I don't think that decides the game at all. I think that both of these teams have been brawling so heavily that just one single team fight is going to be the deciding factor regardless of game state. And I think the Soul is actually going to be very important, that Mountain Soul coming up. We're still nowhere near a team collecting it, but the extra resistances that you get probably could swing the tides of the fight. I don't think the stats given from Baron or the pushing power are going to do quite the same as a Mountain Soul will.
Yeah, especially with the double wave clear. I'm going to say maybe even triple, given that you've got Ornn, who's pretty darn good at it as well. The chances that you actually pull off a successful push are significantly lowered. He does so much damage to these jungle creeps. I was wondering, sort of over the course of the game, where Ming starts to plateau, right? Because we all know first item spike's really good on Zeri, second item spike's pretty good. Does it ever stop?
No.
Nice.
No, it doesn't. That's the thing. Because when you get to hyper late game, you don't necessarily kill them through damage, more so you kill them through war of attrition. Because they can't deal damage to you because you're so far away. And particularly with this Blade of the Ruin King as well, it's a lot of kite capability that you've got on your shoes as well. So there's a lot of windows for Ming to be strong, and I think that this game is just going to amplify that. That if Keels and Origins can't get on top of this area, then they're going to be in a pretty rough spot. They've obviously got Dead Devin and Heart of Africa, the other two supposed carries for this team that they've got to deal with. Heart of Africa is going to be in the front line. Shouldn't be too difficult to try and dispatch of him despite that Death Realm. But overall, you've got to keep your eyes on Ming because they're going to be lethal in the late stages.
Waiting on that next item from Karamatsu Girl. Very curious how much is available to the moment. As we look towards next dragon, 40 seconds away, and Karamatsu Girl sitting on exclusive vision. Could try and go for a pick if unspotted, and even if spotted, specifically clearing out bot side, can still turn a lot of situations around that you wouldn't otherwise expect.
Looks like that we're going to be waiting for the Drake to spawn before we end up finding another full-on 5 versus 5 TP available for both Dead Devin and Heart of Africa, so maybe they look to go to a side lane, but with it spawning in about 10 seconds, it's going to be a battle for vision, a battle for entry to the jungle.
Dude,
we thought,
yeah.
didn't we?
You hit that on Pengo Laker, you go in 100%. It's a kill that almost seems to fly by UBC, but with Hwang spotting out Karamatsu Girl, remember Force of Nature's ticking away, you're stealing a lot of tanky stats. This Trundle is just fine. It's a fight about the rest of the team. Devin doesn't end up being able to survive, and without Teddy on top of Ming, things get even more difficult. Yuxin is being taken down by Heart of Africa, who right now doesn't quite connect with the Mace Slam, but whose passive does just enough. With Ming starting to skate around Karamatsu Girl, stun comes in, you're already half health, you're already almost below that, you're almost out of the game, but Ming needs to be able to get out over the wall and just barely is able to, kiting out 3 different people as Pengo Laker gets slammed into the ground.
So 2 for 2 so far, bot lane for top and jungle. Ming still full HP, trying to kite out. You get CC, this could be dangerous.
Ming is absolutely okay, though. 2 things have just gone wide. Karamatsu Girl surely doesn't land another stun, or do they? Instead, turning it around, Ming is starting to do it, and the knockup comes in, but Heart of Africa is here to finish the job. Going golden is just what you need. Buying time for the heal. Ming escapes over the wall. It's the 1v3, the 2v3. It's incredible from UBC Amber.
Wow, what a fight from Ming. They absolutely demolished MCU in this skirmish in the bot side jungle. Drake is going to be their reward dear. 29 minutes into the game, the 3-item Zeri is fully online, and Ming displaying why this Zeri was first pickable, why they wanted this pick for themselves. UBC, they're going to roam up toward the Baron, they're going to take that for themselves as well. Now, dear, now there's an advantage.
I've seen Palmer movies in mid-October than I have this game. Ming is absolutely terrifying to the entirety of Marymount, California. And as scary as Karamatsu Girl is, it's so difficult to be able to actually catch a Zeri while trying to deal with a Mordekaiser who's coming for you, while trying to deal with the Trundle who's interrupting you, and while trying to catch up to a Victor who's running around the team fight.
There's a lot of movement speed. There's a lot of catching or caught capabilities that rely on just hitting your CC, unfortunately. And when everybody is so speedy, as you allude to, it does become very difficult. Now the question becomes, what can UBC do with this Baron? They have a very good side lane with Heart of Africa. If he gets a 1 versus 1 up against Keels, you imagine that's going to go very well for them. Worth noting as well, Force of Nature picked up by Keels, so credit there as well for the correct item purchase. And with no Void Staff on this Mordekaiser just yet, it could be enough. It could be that difference maker for the survival versus the not dying, I suppose, more so than anything else. You're never going to kill this Mord, but you may be able to survive just long enough to get back to a safety point.
You can hope so. With the ornaments starting to come in, Ice Shifter gets picked up by Karamatsu Girl, and, well, we get Pango Laker picked up by the duo, say, trio in the jungle. No real question at this point that if Soraka is within range, Soraka is dead. Pango Laker has not had a great time this game, and it has been large part due to the fact that Ming and Teddy are willing to jump on you no matter the scenario.
Exactly. They're really, really on it with catching you out, picking you up from being in a wrong position, unfortunately. And that's honestly something that we'll have to wait and see. I'm not quite sure what has happened to the feed. Maybe it's just a pause in game, or is it on my end? There we go. We're back. No issues. Wonderful.
All right. Got it.
Easy.
No pause. Maybe
just complain and it fixes itself.
Exactly. Not really sure, but hey, as long as we're getting game, I'm pretty happy. The Baron's starting to do some pretty darn significant work as Yusin and Keels can't actually stop this wave from hammering away at their tower. And it's not the only one that's crashing either. Devin is keeping Karamatsu Girl occupied, while mid lane, Ming and Teddy are going largely unchallenged, with Karamatsu Girl just now coming over. There's only one level separating Ming and Karamatsu Girl, which is pretty darn impressive on its own. You've got this Zeri running around. Let's see how things go. Yusin gets away. But even so, top tower going to fall, bot tower likely going to fall. It's a matter of time before every inhibitor is down.
They need to try and find a fight MCU. They're going to be looking for one. Origin, he's already dead in this game, and now Karamatsu got caught.
Ooh, stun doesn't land onto Twang either. Chaos Storm is going down. Devin gets taken out, but Keels is also being focused right now with being able to do plenty of damage. I don't like the idea of Yusin in the front line. Stun not going to land from Karamatsu Girl this time around, but Yusin manages to get away, or so we thought. Wish comes in just in the nick of time to save him, and with Heart of Africa, the front line melted. Can you actually take down the Nexus in time? Ming is focused on it, and will be able to shut it down just before MCU collapse onto the Zeri. UBC Ember take game 1, and look good doing it.
It was a good game. That was a lot of action from start to finish. Both teams getting valuable effort in and really showcasing what they are capable of. Credit to Karamatsu Girl for the undoubted MVP performance for her squad. Unfortunately, not quite enough to deal with what was a very scary Mordekaiser and Zeri duo.
Yeah, it felt like even though UBC Amber did end up getting taken advantage of in the mid lane, I don't know exactly how to say that. Well, we have sort of the flowing tides of Summoner's Rift. Mid lane went really well for Marymount. But everywhere that Karamatsu Girl wasn't, UBC Amber will win. Yeah, and that's difficult because off of a 1-game sample size, it's hard to say why that is.
It is.
And if you as MCU can't address that in the course of a single game or the single break between games, it's difficult for you to come back because there's only 1 game left to determine the series.
There is an issue. You're quite right, but there is another issue, pressing one that we have to address quickly. And it's our Death Realm tally. So to remind everyone, Dia was 7 or less. How many ults do we get cast this game? I was 8 or above. I can announce with great sadness, in fact, the Heart of Africa died with their ult up at the end of the game, having cast their ult 7 times.
Oh my god. Oh my god, it was so close. Oh my god, that's so tense.
If you'd have just
Holy
ulted
moly.
one more person before he died.
It just, oh my god. You got inted by Heart of
I
Africa.
did. I'm flaming him live on air. You're being
That's rough.
told.
That's rough. We're gonna have words with Heart of Africa in the break. See if we can get that ult count up for next game as I crack my knuckles. I'm really excited to see what next game brings to us because we know that Marymount, California have what it takes if they can convert their mid lane advantages throughout the rest of the map. The question is just, are they up to the task? We're gonna find out when we come back with Game 2 of UBC Amber versus Marymount, California. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, I'm Dia. This is still Roodood, and wow, I got the direction right.
You
Roodood,
did.
we have
Nailed
news,
it.
and despite my excited tone, it isn't.
It's not great news. It is good
It's
news.
it's not great news for those who wanted to keep up with this series. However,
Mhm.
if you do want to keep up with this series, we would highly recommend you tuning into player streams and, of course, keeping up with the NECC. But due to some mishaps that have occurred, we are not going to be covering on things on B stream anymore. Instead, we're going to be hopping over to the A stream for a different series entirely.
Yes. So to reiterate, to confirm, the rest of this series will not be broadcast here, but there are player streams to go find. And if you want to keep up with the NECC and all of the action, we're going to be sending you over to NECC Esports, where they have another great series already underway.
All right, so good luck to MCU in their fight against UBC Amber. It's a banger of a series, and I look forward to seeing these two throughout the course of the season. However, for today, we are going to be no longer streaming on B stream. We're going to all head over to A stream, so let's go do it together. Woo! Let's go!